stuff or maybe because I'm still learning. I've never played, and this is the first time I'm GMing. So while I'm learning and some of you are learning, everyone else is going to be learning too. All right, so let me just click up on the GM sheets. Right. Well, I'll ask. Let me ask yours first. Right. Where's your question? Does your playbook not have a question?
Maybe not. Let me see.
Oh yes, it does. When you're first together, we fought a terrible enemy from your old life. Who was it, and what did they take from you?
Okay. Yeah. The terrible enemy from my old life. It's actually this creature that's known as Death Shadow. It's comes from deep space, as far as we can tell, and inhabits other people's bodies, temporarily kind of taking them over. So its powers are really hard to determine exactly. At one point, I was able to steal some power from it, and I was outrageously powerful, enough to conquer the city. And Death Shadow was able to take that from me, plus a little bit of my own power.
Oof. All right. So Death Shadow is kind of like this deep space poltergeist thing.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, awesome. And then we move. Let's see. We don't have a bull. We have a beacon. Doomed. The doomed.
So my question is, we paid a high cost for victory. What was it?
Yeah, you answer that, not me.
Um, so we came together fighting this Death Shadow, this massive poltergeist-esque taking over people's bodies. Well, in order to defeat him, we also had to basically get rid of the person that he was inhabiting. So, in order to be able to defeat him, that person's not really themselves anymore.
All right, because Death Shadow had inhabited, um, Eric.
Huh?
No, not you. Damn it! You had to choose a character with my brother's name. Nice. All right, so by not themselves anymore, exactly what do you mean?
Uh, I just assumed that we knocked them into a black hole.
Ugh.
So they're not really a person anymore.
Yeah, we'll I guess we'll say that's what you did to whoever Death Shadow had before he was in let's just call him Edge so my brother doesn't get involved. And I'm guessing this guy was probably an innocent. So sad.
It's unfortunate.
All right, so that's the doomed. We don't have a legacy, right? Ah, the Nova. The Nova. When your team first came together, you destroyed your surroundings in the fight. Where was it, and what did you destroy?
It was at an amusement park, and we destroyed a 300-year-old hand carved carousel.
Oh, jeez. You're really stuck with the hand carved carousel, right?
Yes,
I'm guessing the carousel went into
we
the black
destroyed
hole as
and
well.
no, it was just obliterated.
Oh, okay, all right.
We just destroyed an antique, still working carousel. That's all.
Poor carousel. Could you imagine the amount of hours and the years of fun that was already on that thing? And then we go to our last team member's question is when your team first came together, you drew attention and ire from plenty during the fight. One important person in particular now hates and fears you guys. Who is it?
one important person. I guess that's probably the mayor is very concerned that these potential
Nice.
superheroes are a bit manic and chaotic in nature.
So the mayor fears and hates you.
She gives us no credit for nothing.
You really went with the mayor fears and hates us? That's not good, man.
That is fantastic. Absolutely fan freaking tastic. Now I have a question for you guys. You're a heroic team. Does your heroic team have a name, like an official name, or are you just like a clique?
We can't agree on an official name. We just keep bickering about it.
Yeah, I'm all about Danger Squad, and nobody else is having it.
But Danger Squad makes it seem like we are a danger. That's the problem.
And is there a definitive team leader? I think the dogs want to be the team leader.
God, no, there's no definitive team leader.
All right. So, I'm gonna start from my left to my right. If you're gonna just introduce yourselves, your character's normal name, their heroic name, and whether or not there's a secret identity, preventing anyone else from tying the super version of yourself and the quote unquote normal version of yourself.
Are we doing our relationships?
Oh, you know what? See, this is what I get for not ever running or playing this thing. Influence. Well, how about this? Introduce yourselves real quick, so that we have a better idea who you guys are, and then we'll deal the influence. I'm going to start from my left to my right, which actually starts me off with Chris.
Okay. Okay. I will be playing Eric Foundry, whose superhero name is Edge, a young man who is mentored by a supervillain named Doomhammer. For a while, he had powers that were beyond his scope and have been taken back recently by Death Shadow, as we discussed. He was brought over to the good side by various discussions with a man that is referred to as Captain Peacemaker. He's a normal person in society, but he seems to have a lot of sway over a pretty large population of the younger supers inside town. And my reason for being with the group, even though I used to be a villain, is there's something different about the group, and Captain Peacemaker has pretty much given me the, like, I don't think you'll do it. And my character is just stubborn and is like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll be a hero. Yeah, whatever. And is there. The other thing that's important about Eric Foundry is he is the school's superest senior, in the sense that he is 21 and still in high school. He has been reprimanded many times for being gone from school and arrested. Now he gets guided to campus via cops. And there is really no difference between Eric Foundry and Edge. Basically, he wears a black bodysuit with a bunch of weapons strapped to him when he's Edge, but never a mask, so everyone knows who he is.
All right. And Josh.
I will be playing Bartholomew Rayner, or Bart Rayner. He is a 17-year-old in high school. He is the captain of the basketball team. He also plays baseball and is in the chess club.
So a resident overachiever?
Yeah, pretty much. He's a classic jock, but even though he has no secret identity, like none whatsoever. He will show off his powers at the pep rallies. So literally, everyone knows who he is.
All right, that's you got.
He has no super costume. Like, he wears a pair of Chuck Taylor's jeans and a t-shirt when he fights crime, and it's pretty much whatever he was wearing in school that day.
I love how
he is
the classic underachiever in the party, in this team, who everyone knows, his super and secret, is followed by the classic overachiever in the team, who everyone knows, who doesn't even have a super version of his identity.
He is basically just himself. So he's not like a bully. He's not like the cool kid who like puts other people down. He's actually like the cool kid who doesn't care.
Like, sure, what?
Pretty much, he will hang out with the geeks. He doesn't give a shit.
And our most unique looking member of the party, Brian.
I am playing Samuel Houston. Hero name Brock Rock. His name is he's 16 years old and he still goes to high school. He changed when he was 10 years old, and that's because he had this real fascination with monsters, and he would wear monster suits. And so when he was visiting town with his mum, he saw the most miraculous store by the name of Madame Maxine's Miracle Masquerades, to which this woman start making this suit for Sam, not asking for any money, but in return sell his skin to be the monster within.
And how does he look now?
Now Sam transformed. He is a cross between looking like a giant, scaly-looking crocodile and a yeti.
Oh,
Named himself Brock Rock after his favorite WWE wrestler, favorite SMTT cartoon character, Grimrock. Tied it together.
All right. And I guess everyone knows who you are, since it's hard to hide being a furry, scaly monster.
Yeah. He started to wear shades at the beginning, but he discovered that didn't work.
And we'll move on to, I guess, our most unassuming looking member of our party, Mike.
My character's name is Billy Cranston. His superhero name is Soldier Ant. He is almost the prototypical nerd. He is skinny as a human being can be. He can be knocked over by a strong breeze. He has big, thick rimmed glasses. And he was always just this biggest, massive fan of these superheroes flying around the city saving people. And he always wanted to be one of them, but he couldn't because he was, frail and not especially gifted in terms of anything that could actually be used to be a superhero. So he just assumed that he'd never be one. While he was doing his normal activities, he went and visited a Renaissance fair. It's one of the things that he loves to do whenever it happens to roll into town. He stumbled into the fortune teller's booth. And the fortune teller, he went in, just decided to stick around because he was too socially awkward to just leave. So he sat down and had his fortune read. And when he was getting his fortune read, the fortune teller, her eyes started to glow white. The crystal ball started levitating. Weird stuff started happening. And she started spouting out semi-coherent things about doom and death and destruction, all based around him. And as these were being said, as this was happening, there's a big flash of white happens. He gets knocked directly out of the tent, and he finds some peculiar abilities. And so he donned the costume and decided to be like the heroes he always wanted to be.
What does his costume look like?
He's got basically a full bodysuit with green camo all across it, with a black symbol on his chest, with a full face mask with 2 antennae on top. He did happen to just grab whatever mask he could find at the store and spray paint it camo. So it's not the best looking costume, but it works.
And his super and true identities are kept separate, right?
Yes, mostly because there's very few people that would make the connection between an actual superhero and Billy Cranston.
Okay. Now let's rock on with some influence, right? Billy Cranston, being who he is, all right, gives influence to 2 of his teammates. Those 2 people, those 2 people on your team matter to you. So, who do you think is going to have influence over you?
First off, I think Sam would definitely have. Good old Brock Rock would have a decent amount of influence over him. And I'm actually going to say Edge as well, especially considering he's an older figure in the group. Billy's got to be a little bit more respectful just because he is 5 years older than him.
I'm sorry, but I love that. Okay, so Brock and Edge have influence over you. So we go to Brock Rock. Let's see, influence. You try to not care what other people think, even if you can't shut everyone else. Shut everyone out. Give influence to 1 teammate.
Okay. So Sam needs to keep as grounded as he can, as he possibly can, and to do that, he wants to be around his teammates. So spending a lot of time in the company of his fellow gamer, Billy, you'll give Billy that influence.
So the 2 of you have influence over each other. Okay. And we'll go over to our very special Nova, who needs no super heroic name. Bart. Influence. Yep.
I'm going with Happy Facade, so they all 3 get influence over me.
All right. And then our our super senior Edge.
Okay. So for relationships, I've earned the trust of blank, and I followed their example of what a hero should be. I think this is a reciprocal relationship. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name. Billy Cranston's the one that looks up to me, right? Perfect. For Billy Cranston, I think that he's so innocent that, like, in a lot of ways, he just wants to be the paragon hero, and so Edge kind of goes, "Yeah, that's what I should achieve to be." And so, while he won't admit it, he's going to follow his example. And then I did something terrible to blank once. I hope they can forgive me one day, and I think that's going to be our resident transformed individual, because I'm thinking Edge was definitely a bully.
Oof. And your influence?
Influence is a question of, do I talk openly about my villain days? If so, I give each team member influence over me. If not, I give influence to 1 team member whose example you most closely follow. I don't think he talks about it like super openly because they all pretty much know his rap sheet. There, like I said, there's no real barrier between who he is in and out of costume. So I think I'll give influence over Billy.
So Soldier Ant has influence over Edge. The Ant has influence over everyone.
Sounds like he might be the leader.
All right. And then going back to the questions. I was just gonna do influence and then do the relationships, but you already did yours. So
Okay.
the Nova.
You hang out all the time with to blow off steam. I think the person you probably hang out with to blow off steam is the person most likely to allow him to blow off steam, which is probably Edge. Being the ex-villain that he is.
He's not judging you or anything, but
Well, I mean, come on. You want to destroy some cans with, like, fucking Nerd over here. He's not going to be cool with it.
all right. And it says you once hurt blank when you lost control of your powers.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Billy Cranston.
Oh, all right. Then we move over to our resident transformed. Blank comforted you when you were at your lowest.
Oh, let's see. Blank comforted you when you were at your lowest. Okay. So. Golly, I don't know. I guess that would be Billy again. Billy.
So Billy Cranston, aka Soldier Ant, comforted you where you were at your lowest. The next relationship is Blank knew you before you changed.
I'm gonna give that to Eric.
So Edge probably bullied you before you transformed.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah, apparently you are nerdy.
I like that. I think that like that would be the case. It's like Edge was like hard into bullying you, then you transformed, and Edge is like, "Nah, I'm done, man. You got enough stuff on your plate."
And last but not least, our apparent nerd of the group.
So my two relationships. The first one is you told Blank all about the doom and all about your doom and the danger you're in. And I think the person he's closest to on the team is going to be Sam. And that's really the only person he's talked openly with it about it. And his second one is you'd love to kiss Blank before your doom comes. And I actually have that as the same person as my nemesis, Miranda, the Queen Bee. Captain of the cheerleading squad.
I love that this team, who has yet to elect a leader or even agree on a name, has a clear divide right down the middle. Like, two of you are tight. The other two are tight. And the other two that are tight are like the polar opposites of each other. You know, the do-gooder, I can do anything, you know, superhero. And I'm still in high school? Super villain. Ugh.
It's like I think almost every person on the team strongly dislikes someone else on the team.
Yeah, it's it's great. It's great. All right. So am I missing anything else for the starting stuff?
No, it looks like it's it. But what do you mean? Bart doesn't dislike anyone on the team.
So I said almost.
You need to
Three
stop
quarters is
you need to
almost.
stop complaining. You have influence over all your teammates. All right, so we'll start this like prologue issue. This is like one of those issues that comes with like all 4 variant covers with each, superhero in this burgeoning team, like taking the forefront on the cover. They have like the foil versions and the holographic versions and the different variant colors, but it's always listed as issue 0. And the title is ... because you guys don't have a team name yet. So it's issue 0 of ... And in the background in each issue, you guys are facing like the football field for Pendleton High, and it looks like this silhouette is picking up the entire football team. And all their faces look like panicked and whatnot. So you'd you'd open the book to the first page, and it's that traditional splash page. You see Pendleton High's cafeteria. You definitely notice the different cliques. There's a few other, transformed, oversized guys that look like they're sort of made of pebbles and rocks. And there's one guy who looks like his skin is all green with vines coming out of it. And, everybody's going to their cliques, their jock clique, this sort of super team that's trying to form, the freshmen's. You've got your senior super team that is just like laid back and looks like they don't care about anything anymore. The uber cool kids. And then you have you guys, right? Like, you're a mixture of, great grades, extracurricular activities, and a guy that gets brought to school by cops. The superest of all the super seniors in the school, which he's not the only one. He's not the oldest one in the school. There are other 20-year-old students in this school. This is like the only public high school left standing in the city. So everyone that's not going to a private school is sent here by default. Then you turn the page and you can start seeing like kids get up and they're lifting up their little phones and mobile devices. Some have like little tablets and they're looking like they're trying to get on tables and record things because there's a commotion breaking out in the cafeteria. You start hearing like chants, fight, 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 fight. Oh! As there's obviously something going down. And as you go through the panels of all this chanting and whatnot, through the very small gaps left in between bodies in this crowd, you can see a rather misshapen figure. He has a large head, an exceptionally large head, and he looks like he's wearing his best attempt at a superhero costume. And he's getting pushed around and bullied. And that's this guy. He's got a gigantic square head. Despite the size of his head, he may be 5'2". He's very short. And yes, he's also wearing lipstick with a cursive L written down on his costume. And you guys all know him as, everybody knows this guy because he's one of those really, really weird kids in school who is completely and utterly obsessed with Laverne and Shirley reruns. And he's just getting beat up. And he's getting beat up by normal kids. Or at least, if they had superpowers, you don't know. So he's getting shoved around and kicked around. At this time, we turn the page to find out what our various super people are doing.
So I think the first one that shows up is going to be Edge, and He's actually sitting at the table that has been specifically assigned to him. There's a shackle point inside the center of the table, and he's got handcuffs that are run through the whole thing, so he can't go very far. But he's like leaning back, and he's got a cigarette in his mouth as this young woman, Officer Jackie Page, just snatches the cigarette out of his mouth as he's trying to see what's going on.
I guess you'll probably hear her just do the customer as she's putting out the cigarette.
Come on, baby. It's just a smoke.
Look, you're in school. There's no smoking.
Yeah. Still. Ugh.
And whose fault
All right.
is that?
Well, yeah, I know. Shouldn't skip school for superpowers.
And at that
You'll
time,
come around one of these days, Jackie. You will. And he just kind of keeps leaning back because she's kind of in the way, and you hear his handcuffs like chink as they hit full extension. And he finally gets a good look at it. Fucking Gigantor head over there is getting beat up again.
What? And I guess that's when Officer Vasquez, the gentleman, the uniformed gentleman of the pair, will probably just like with his I don't even know what cops call it, but the Tongfa?
Baton.
The Billy Club?
Yeah, the Billy Club. That's like he's had it out this entire time waiting for you to do something, and he just starts tapping on the table. That's none of our problem. We got to keep an eye on this one.
I'm not going anywhere. And Edge just kind of pulls on the cuffs a little to kind of remind them that he's strapped to the table. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and Officer Vasquez just nods. He goes, "Yep, you know it." And then he's like doing that thing where he's just like slapping the Billy Club kind of slowly in his hand, just watching you. What are the rest of the team? What is the rest of the team doing?
I'm going to start to walk forward with a purple basketball spinning on my finger. Just like walking past Edge's table. It's like, it's cool, dude. I'll take care of it. But he looks directly at the cop, like slapping the baton in his hand. It's like trying to act macho much, dude.
Look, 17 inches. Keep 17 inches away from this one, and he points at Edge with his Billy Club at all times. It's for your own safety.
I imagine in that frame, like he's pointing the Billy Club at Edge, and Edge is back there like doing this wave arm thing, like, woo, scary.
And I'm spinning a purple energy basketball on my fingers. I mean, it's like, yeah, man, I'm so scared.
I guess that's when like Paige would be like, we're just here for your protection. There's no intimidation. Just please, we know you know each other. Just if you're gonna handle the situation over there.
I'm just gonna keep walking by towards the situation. Hey, guys, man, knock it the fuck off.
And then you just hear them, oh, and there's like arms flailing all about as like people are starting to close in closer and like hold on to each other. There's like a little short kid. He's a freshman. You know that he's a super because you've seen him jump, and he can jump way higher than he's supposed to.
Yeah.
That's when he like jumps over the crowd onto like the shoulders of someone else to start taking pictures with his phone.
Billy has been trying unsuccessfully for about 2 or 3 minutes now to muscle his way through the crowd without using his powers. He's still mostly on the outside, but he's very, very slowly making progress getting towards the fight and trying to get them to break it up.
Then right behind Billy, you would see this towering massive presence just starting to walk behind him, and the shadow coming over him. And then Billy in his mind, or Sam in his mind, has a normal voice, but in the outside, you just, what the hell is going on here?
Oh, not look, and that's when the other transformed, whose entire body looks like it's made of rocks and pebbles, and he always like, he's still wearing clothing, but all the exposed stone seems to be like flaking off and dust coming down. He's like, look, just chill out, relax. We're just having a little bit of fun here. Just don't get your curlies in a twist.
What's this rocky person's name?
He calls himself Rocky because he's very unimaginative.
Okay. Why don't you just leave him alone?
He's like, I'll leave him alone. Just come, from one monster to another, and he goes to wrap his arm around you. Now, I gotta stop screen sharing so I could look at what I'm doing. You're trying to get him to leave him alone, right? I'm trying to find that move. Would that be, no. I mean, to get someone to do what you want is a provoke, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, it sounds weird, but it sounds like you're trying to provoke him to try to get what you want out of him.
Okay.
So, you would roll the customary 2d6, and you add your superior modifier.
How do you know what your superior modifier is?
It would be on your playbook. When you create your character, you add +1 to one of your labels. Your labels being danger, freak, savior, superior, and mundane. Yeah.
Okay.
And the labels that are white, there's only one value that's listed in white. That's the starting labels, starting amounts, and you can add 1 to any one of those.
All right. Okay. So I don't add anything then.
All right. So you just roll a flat 2d6.
Okay. That's a 7.
That's a 7. So on a 7 to 9, instead of doing exactly what you want, they can instead choose 1. They stumble and take +1 forward. Against them, you gain a critical opportunity. They overreact, and you gain influence on them. All right. I think Rocky is gonna overreact, and while he was wrapping his arm around you, and you're trying to peaceably get him to just part his way, he tries to sucker trip you. And he does so, but being that the two of you are so large, the crowd like clearly parts for you to fall. Like, whoa! And the correctional officers watching Edge can clearly see this. And for a moment, he catches, like, we zoom in on the panel. You see Edge, like, leaning back there at the full extent of the chain, trying to get a good view. Officer Vasquez trying to be, like, Mr. Intimidating with his billy club. And Officer Page just chilling there, and, like, her eyes just blare up wide, like, holy cow. And she puts her hand on her gun, and when she does that, Vasquez spins around and just draws his without even waiting. And that's when Rocky kind of like throws up his hand. He's like, "Oh, he tripped, right? Obviously lying, but you have influence over Rocky now."
Okay.
So you can exert that influence whenever you like. When this happens, does anybody? I mean, Soldier Man, I know you were preceding your friend Samuel.
As he's trying to muscle his way through the crowd, all of a sudden the crowd, the people next to him, split apart. And he's just like, oh, cool, I can finally get to the... And he is on the ground with a just entirely, like, the world went dark for him. He is entirely covered by Sam.
you just hear a...
Basically.
Oh my goodness.
Sounds it's all right. I'm getting up. Don't worry.
And while this all hubbub is going on, the panels sort of switch over to focus on the apparently collected and calm Bartholomew Rayner spinning that purple basketball.
Yeah, as this all happens, I'm going to actually activate my powers.
Well, what are you doing?
I can't remember what it is. When you charge up your powers, roll plus conditions, apparently charge up my powers.
Okay. So how does it
Whatever
look when
move that is.
when you're it's your burn?
Yeah, I have to get burned to use any of my abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So when I charge up my powers, the basketball goes away, and you see his body just begin to get covered in blue, crackling energy. That occasionally spark off of him, but it doesn't actually do any damage.
All right.
And it's like purple and sparkling, sparky.
And he's gonna do anything else?
Only once I have burn.
Okay, well, like you're starting to charge, and you see like lightning's lick, right? And you know it's like one of those last panels on the page where it's like, uh-oh, something's about to go down, and then you turn the page, and there's like a long panel again of Edge's table, him sitting there, you know, in the position that he was in, and Officer Vasquez, gun drawn, he's pointing it at the crowd. He looks like he's yelling, but there's no sound. And Officer Page has a walkie-talkie to her ear, and the gun still hasn't left her side. She still has her hand on her gun that's in the holster. And then the panel right next to it is a super hyper close-up of the side of her face with the walkie-talkie. And it just says backup required. Situation with supers appears to be escalating. And you know, with that going on, Edge, you're right there. You can obviously see and hear all this.
Edge just kind of holds up his cuffs, and it's the first time that we can actually really clearly see them, but there are these spurs on the inside of the cuffs. And every time he moves back and leans like that, it's actually digging into his wrists and cutting him. He goes, you know, I can help. It's kind of my thing now.
Vasquez will just be like, we'll not have any of that pointing, because he still has his billy club in his other hand. And now he's pointing his billy club at you and his gun at the crowd.
Yeah, the person who I'm directing the conversation to is Officer Page. She's a little bit closer to my age. She's a girl that probably would have known me when I was really young too. But there's kind of this connection that seems to be there between the two. And he pretty much entirely ignores Officer Vasquez, and he, again, kind of holds the cuffs out to her. Seriously, I'll come right back.
She looks kind of like worried for a second. She hesitates, and then, you know, amongst all the hey, the yelling and the screaming and the obvious escalation of what's going on, she whips out, instead of grabbing her gun, she moves slightly along the side of her belt, right? Pulls out her keys, which are on this like extendable chain, and actually just goes for your cuffs. And before Vasquez can even object, have a chance to even object. The cuffs are just click click. Doosh.
Okay. With the cuffs off, Edge gets up and he begins moving his hands, and you can hear this incantation as he recites some ancient magical words that are actually in a foreign language that he learned from a cosmic artifact. And this sword that is made of some sort of foreign metal, it's just this jagged, vaguely sword-shaped thing appears in his hand, and he begins going towards the group. All right, break it up. Come on. It's enough.
And then we get another long panel that's cut in three with two diagonal lines into three smaller panels. On the left, you see the table where Edge came from in the distance. Vasquez looks like he's about to lose his mind. Paige has her hand on his gun, holding it down. They look to be in a little bit of objection. Edge is there with this sword. And then the last panel is just a close-up of this glowing body of Bart.
Okay, why do I roll to just 2d6?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to see if I got any burn from when I was charging up my powers.
Yeah.
6, so that's a hit, right?
A 6 is a failure.
Okay.
That's a miss. So you
On a 7 or 9, mark a condition.
Yeah.
On a miss, hold 2 burn and mark 3 conditions.
Yep.
What the hell's a hit?
A 7 to 9. You rolled a 6.
Anything above 7 is considered a hit.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So why does it say on a hit, mark 3 burn? On a 7 through 9, mark a condition. On a miss, hold 2 burn and mark in 3 conditions.
You get all of that. So you're going to get 3 burn on a hit. Actually, hold on a second.
No. I think it's that on a hit you get 3 burn, but if your hit is 7, 8, or 9, you get that 3 burn plus a condition. However, on a miss, you only get 2 burn and have to mark 3 conditions.
Okay.
All right. So you miss.
That makes no sense to me still.
It's basically you gain.
So
more
on it,
power.
why not?
What?
Yeah, I know, but why not just say on a hit, hold 3 burn and mark a condition?
Because if you roll a 10 or higher,
if only a 7 or over.
Well,
if you roll a 10 or higher, you only use the 10 higher category. So, for example, I've got one that says take influence when you score a hit. But if I roll a 7 to 9, I choose one of 3 complications. If I roll a 10 plus, I choose 2 complications.
Okay, well, I guess I'm going to choose angry, afraid, and insecure. Okay. Then I'm going to try to spend one of the burn I just got to create shielding around the kid that was being bullied.
Okay.
And one more burn to create a construct of a blaring sign that says, or a flashing, blaring sign that says, move away or return to your seats.
All right, so roll 2d6 for defend, but add your freak modifier instead of savior.
Okay, that is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
All right, so when you're defending someone or something from immediate threat, roll for you. In this case, it's plus freak. For NPC threats on a hit, save you keep them safe, and choose one. Add a team to the pool. Take influence over the person you're protecting. Clear one condition.
Okay, I'm just going to clear the insecure condition, I guess.
All right.
And put shielding around the bullied kid.
So they're pushing him around, taking pause to laugh. One of them looks like he's going to kick, and that's when the barrier comes up. So he just hits the barrier.
And the barrier looks like basically a small basketball around him. This purple basketball just springs into being around him.
All right. And now that the kid is protected, there's we move on to the next panel, which doesn't exist. It's just like the bold letters that are all squiggly and stuff that say "Aww," and we move to the panel beneath that where we see right behind Edge, the large form of Sam getting up, and the very tiny form in Sam's shadow. Poor little Billy. And then right in front of them, Edge with his spelled sword.
To me?
Let's say Billy's pretty much two-dimensional at this point.
Yeah, so Sam is getting up, and he's actually comforting Billy. Are you okay, buddy? Are you alright? I didn't squish you, did I? You're not too
Just
bad.
like one hand just stuck in the air, just my back.
And Sam tries to straighten Billy up, delicately. And as he's doing so, he turns around at Rocky and just gives him that scalding, seething look.
Yeah, Rocky just responds by doing one of these, like he throws his hand up really high over his shoulder behind his neck. He's like, "Oh, you need a hand? Oh, you got up, yeah."
And it's much less Billy getting up than him being propped up, because his back is still like arched and his hand is still up, and he's just.
And while this is
he's
happening,
in pain.
Yeah, while this is Edge.
Yeah, Edge has kind of stepped in between. I should have been a little more clear. I was attempting to defend Billy last turn. I won't worry about the roll, but basically he's just kind of sat himself in between.
All right. So,
now that it looks like the situation's kind of diffusing itself, he's going to recite the incantation and it'll release the weapon as well.
So the crowd starts to like break up a little, and everyone is reforming into their little cliques. They all have something to say about what was going on, and as this is happening, there are security guards and officers like armed with. You guys would, well, I think Edge would know particularly about these. They're high-powered tasers. He's probably been struck with them once or twice or numerous times in the past. They use them
it's become routine. Like Edge puts his hands on his head and goes and lays on the floor because he doesn't want to get hit with one of them again.
Yeah, and everything is happening. Everything breaks down, and you see, this task force looking group begin to make sure everyone is in their seats, like sit down, what happened, and then the dean comes in, or one of the deans of the school come in. What's going on here? What's going on here? And with Edge on the floor, he kind of just like hones in. What did you do this time?
And like not even looking up, he's like, I didn't do nothing, but it's kind of muffled by the floor.
Really? And he starts stroking his chin, looking at like everyone, looking at the rest of your group, the other children or young adults that you associate yourself with lately.
And Brock would give a snarl, and he's telling the truth. He didn't do it. This is not his problem.
Okay. And he kind of like he reaches into his collar to pull his collar away to get a little extra air. Obviously made a little nervous by you speaking to him. And then he takes a few steps closer to Edge, who's right in front of this spheroid shield. And he goes, and this could only be, leans over and looks right at Bart. He goes, Bartholomew Rayner.
At least you got the name right this time. So I've told you, call me Bart. And here, I'm going to wave my hand and dismiss the shield.
Huh. And, underneath you see the guy that was getting picked on, curled up in a ball, peeks up to see if there's anyone who has beatings incoming for him. Seeing that he's been saved for the time being, he gets up, and again, he's maybe 5'2". He's not that tall. Like half his body height is his head, and he's got a large square head. He's wearing you can't mistake him, right? He goes around calling himself Laverne. All the other kids in school call him Blockhead for obvious reasons. And again, he's got like this mask with the purple trim and orange. It's an orange mask with purple trim, and he's wearing a half orange, half purple jumpsuit, like spandex. The colors go down diagonally, and on the purple half on his chest, he has the cursive L, much in the same way as Laverne did in Laverne and Shirley.
Do I know his real name?
He's always ever introduced himself as Laverne. Whatever his name was before Laverne.
Kind of walk over. Laverne, you okay, brother?
He's like, yes. And again, he has like this rouge on his lips. His freckled face is marred with bruises. So I could have. He's getting really coy, and he's acting very, shy and almost like a shy little schoolgirl. Like, I could have handled it.
I'm sure you could have, kid.
So I'm. He puffs out his chest and like stretches out his jumper to show you the L a little bit better. He goes, I'm gonna be a superhero.
In the brief second after he proclaims himself to be a superhero, you just hear the sound of Billy's back just snapping back into place, basically, of just a wave of pop, 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 as his entire spine adjusts.
Yeah, I think catching that, the dean sort of cringes. Oh! Checks himself for a moment. Did my back... No. Oh. Oh my god. Young Mr. Cranston, are you alright? And he goes to help you up.
He's all right. He's as good as new.
Yeah, yes. Well, let's take you to the medic, and then sure, please, if you would join us as well, Laverne. If you wish to write any complaints and reports, we will need a statement from the two of you as to how this all transpired. And I think at this time, Vasquez is like right above Eric with those really messed up cuffs.
Yeah, and Eric's rolled over onto his stomach now that the chaos has kind of subsided, and he just has his hands sticking up like, yep, I'm ready to go.
And you just hear like a sympathetic or an empathetic sigh from Officer Page. Like, like she really doesn't want to put those horrendous things back on. But
and it's really just a safety measure, because as he starts moving his hands, that's the components he needs to be able to cast to gather weapons around him. So these are the best tools to keep him from conjuring his powers.
So almost gleefully, Vasquez locks you up. And then, you know, we pan out to see the last panel of this page, and that's the last panel where you hear the click, click of these medieval torture device restraints. So yeah, we turn the page, and beginning on the next page, it says, you know, after school, as like the imposed word, and we'll see, you know, the guys together discussing maybe the events of school or what you guys plan on doing. Probably, maybe you're in the library surfing the web to find supervillains to stop. I don't know. What are you guys doing after school?
You see Billy at the computer just type, hold more ice to his back, type, and just starts typing with one hand.
You see Edge, and he's got a small toolkit, and he's messing with an ankle bracelet that he has to override it so they can't track where he's going. This has kind of become a ritual. He rigs it so that it looks like he's at his house when he's not there. Normally, I would be activating the blow-off steam ability I have, but I don't have any conditions to clear.
Speaking of conditions, one of you has 2 conditions still, which was afraid and angry, right?
Hopeless and angry.
Oh, hopeless and angry. So, Mask's basic playbooks. Wait, I'm trying to find. Oh, clearing conditions. Okay. Here's some way you can get rid of those conditions. To clear angry, you have to hurt someone important to you or break something important to you. To clear hopeless, you have to fling yourself into easy relief. So, like, sneak in the local bar, maybe.
I think yeah, for clear hopeless to fling himself into easy release, he just plays some basketball.
All right, so you're outside. They have an outdoor basketball court. It's right by the football field. You see the football team practicing and whatnot, and you're just shooting hoops all on your lonesome, real serene.
Yeah.
And what is Sam doing?
So everybody's together, yeah?
Well, it looks like Edge, Eric, and Billy might be in the computer room doing various things. One of those things probably a little bit more nefarious than the other.
It's a victimless crime. Victimless.
And, you know, Bart is outside playing ball, shooting some hoops.
Yeah, well, seeing that Bart is a bit dejected and a bit releasing some steam, Sam will be outside with Bart and just throwing some hoops with them and things.
You're feeling a little bit relaxed now, buddy.
Yeah, man. Stupid fucking high schoolers, man. Why you gotta pick on people, dude? Why does anyone have to do that shit?
Okay.
I don't think he was the one that was picking on anybody, but yeah, sure.
No, he was being general. He wasn't talking to him specifically. It was a generalized question.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. It's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, it is one of those things.
Hey, but you did good, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, I did. As he says that, he kind of accidentally charges the ball with that energy he has, puts it behind it, and just throws it right through the backboard, just like shattering it.
Yeah. Still a bit angry, yeah? Just a little.
A little bit.
Yeah. So like you shatter the backboard. A moment later, the school is like 150 feet away, but it was a loud sort of boom when the backboard just shattered like that. A window just pops up, and you see one of the teachers yell out, "Hey!" as we move to the next panel back into the school, in the computer room with Eric and Billy.
Edge is just looking out the window, laughing hysterically at what just happened. You got to see this, man.
Billy takes that time to just hit enter, and across the room, a printer starts up, and he just slowly stands up and like hobbles over to the window with the ice still pressed against his back. Just, what is it?
Bart blew out the backboard again.
Oh, really?
Yep. Looks like that's Mrs. Lane. It's not going to be good for him.
Well, that ain't gonna end well for anyone.
You're looking outside. You don't know when, but the teacher already made her way to the basketball hoop. Exceptionally fast. And she looks like she's scolding the two of them. So
To which you'll hear,
It wasn't me!
I don't know which one of you it was, or if it was both of you. Whoever did it, you're in big trouble. The both of you are in big. Why would you destroy?
It was an accident. How much does it cost?
What do you mean, how much does it cost? Does it look like I keep track of how much it costs?
My dad will pay for it. Okay, it's just like the third time this week it's happened.
She goes third times, and she looks like she starts counting, and her fingers become a blur. And you lost count. You might have tracked her fingers tapping each other like this, like her fingers to her thumb, after maybe 20 or 30, which only took like a split second. And then they just become an utter blur. You could feel a breeze coming from her hand. And just rapid mumbling. Sort of. What are you two doing here?
It's blown off steam. Do you take cards?
Cards for what?
He reaches into his back pocket, pulls out a wallet. Credit cards.
Why would I take credit cards? Look, I don't know what rumors are going on. I know you love to start rumors, you kids. But whatever it is, it's not true.
For the backboard.
What happened to the? Oh my God! Someone broke it again. This is like the. And then she starts counting again, really, really fast.
Yes, we didn't see who broke it, did we, big guy?
No. It was just somebody else.
She goes, "You kids better get out of here. I mean, maybe you could take care of yourself." And she starts pointing at you, trying to remember your name, and she goes, "Just get out of here.
Yeah.
I gotta find out who did this. It's like the third time this week."
We're both leaving.
And before you turn around, she just looks like she's over there picking up the pieces, and you don't know when she got there. Like she was there. And you hear her counting the pieces as she's picking them up.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Yes,
Let's
quickly.
get out.
So you guys start heading towards. There's a long walkway connects the basketball courts, the tennis courts, the football field, and it kind of wraps around to the baseball field. So it brings you past as you're walking to get around and get as far away from I'm not gonna say crime, but the destruction of public property isn't necessarily smiled upon. So you guys are trying to get as far away from that as possible. You walk by the football team and they're doing the practice, they're throwing the ball around, and you notice a figure who's standing clearly above them. And I know the football team has two teams. The high school, they have the normals and the supers. For those students who don't have a secret identity and everyone knows they're super powered, they all go on a very specific football team. And the supers aren't practicing. Each team they switch days after school on when they practice. So it's the normals, and this is obviously not a normal. He must be 10, maybe 11 feet tall, towering over everyone. And he doesn't look like he's wearing a traditional Pendleton High normals football jersey. As a matter of fact, kind of looks like he's wearing a mask. And he's standing there watching everyone very judgmentally with his arms crossed. I'm judging everyone. Yep, it's this guy.
Do we recognize that symbol on his mask? Or do some recognize the symbol?
Do you want to be able to recognize the symbol?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah,
You tell me.
what do I roll there?
You tell me. Don't roll anything. You tell me what you remember of that symbol. It's, if I want to zoom in to let you see what it actually is, it's a fist. It's a teal fist on his forehead.
All right.
He's got the full body tights, which are very pale purple with a very bright teal stripe running along the sides, and these teal footies on them. But his tights are sleeveless, and he's got those, as you can see, those massive arms. Well, to give you, yeah, go ahead.
Sam's clicking his finger. He's like, because I'm not sure myself. Sam's clicking his fingers. Something fist something. There's son. Is he scouting? Is that what he's doing? He's scouting. Yeah, something like a team.
All right, so
it's like it's at the tip of his tongue, but he's just trying to recollect what that is.
He's not from your school, right? You might have seen him online or something, and that's Plymouth. That character's name is Plymouth, and you think he's from one of the rival schools, one of the private schools. And he's
And
not...
then when
Yeah, go ahead.
When Sam remembers that, he leans over to the Bart. He's from the next school.
Why would a super be scouting the normal team?
Just trying to stir some trouble. He's trying. There's a plot here. There is.
Probably. We go see what he's up to.
He's starting our team.
But he's scouting the normal team. Why is a super scouting the normal team? That makes no sense.
I guess with the notion of that makes no sense, we pan back into the computer room, and you get that horrendous noise that the really old school dot matrix printers have, since those are the printers in this school. The
I really wish they would, not cut the tech budget in favor of the athletics teams.
And Edge is like ripping the little perforated like hold paper edge off of the print offs, and he goes, come on, everybody loves football, right?
If they gave the AV club like any budget, we could do a lot more. It's like what? They need to rebuild the football field like every couple of months? At some point, you just need to drop it.
I don't know. It seems like the football club pulls in more money. And
That's just because the AV club hasn't gotten an opportunity to do anything.
Sure. Edge just kind of sets down the paperwork. I think I'm going to step outside. I got to see where the other two went. Looks like Miss Lane didn't do her normal thing. That's a little weird.
I'll be out in a minute.
And Edge is going to start walking around looking for the other two.
All right, so I guess finally when you see them, they look like they're making their way onto the football field to see what's going on. And huh?
Sorry, I have to take this real quick.
Oh, okay. So like, there's that well, while he takes that, why don't we stick around and find out what Billy's doing?
Billy just basically he's going and he printed off a good number of papers, and he has them all set up so that he's got two essays on the same topic.
Okay.
And he's got one with his name on it and one with Edge's name on it. He wrote the paper for both of them. And he's tearing off the perforations and trying to make it look as nice as possible using this crappy technology. And he just gets it nice and organized and set up, and then he looks around to make sure that nobody's actually watching him. And he just tosses the ice pack that he was using to the side, just walks around normally.
Yeah, there's like one or two other people in the computer room, but one of them is always in the computer room. Like, none of you know her name. She is probably the biggest geek in the school, and she's always playing like a really old copy of Oregon Trail on a DOS emulator, and is always up in it. Like, her screen is always on the face. You always hear her breathing like as she's reading the text about what's going on. Once in a blue moon, you might hear her, and start clicking again. The other kid is, the other, young man in the room. He's, just another student, surfing the web. He's on the MetaMinder website looking up superhero details. And you can just hear him typing away. Like if he's trying to put in his own 2 cents on every superhero that he finds on the website. MetaMinder is one of those, it's like a cross between like Metacritic and YouTube, and like a social media site where you can rate, comment, and build superheroes' histories. their official online history, no matter how true or false it may be. And he looks like he's trying to do something.
I know about. I know about this site. My character used to be a moderator.
So are you heading outside now as well, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna head outside and just sort of pull on my clothes a little bit because the costume is hidden underneath.
All right, and
Gets itchy.
like I guess you pulling on your clothes, like in that one panel, right? It's a close up shot of like your bust, and you can just barely see the lining of the camo costume underneath, and that's the last panel in the page. And then we turn the page to see again that large figure, standing over, and he looks like he's starting to flex now. So Bart and Sam, you're pretty close, and you can see like he obviously looks like he's trying to be intimidating. Before like one of the normal members on the football team, they drop a pass, and he starts to heckle them. Butterfingers. You know, they're like, "Hey, come on, chill out." The coach is like, "Look, you can watch, but we're practicing here. Please try not to comment." And oh yeah. You know, and they snap the ball again. The quarterback fakes a pass and then he runs it to catch a touchdown. And again, Plymouth heckles again. Oh, come on. Nobody saw that coming. Jeez. No wonder you're such losers.
And Sam leans over the Bart again. Like, really leans over to the sabotage.
You go to lean over, but he's like right at head level with you as he's wrapped in purple energy and kind of floating in the air.
And then with that, he just spins up again.
Yeah, he might be right. The guy might be trying to kick something off. What should we do?
He's trying to steal our clothes. Trying to make us look bad. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, I agree. He might be trying to make us look bad, but why is he heckling the normal team?
Because he hasn't got guts to heckle the supers. That's why.
You hear him again in the background. Oh, come on! You see the coach, approach him. Look, he's got his the little pad in his hand, the clipboard. And he's like, look, calm down. We're practicing, all right? They don't need you heckling them from the sidelines. This is a game of normals, all right? If you want to watch, that's fine. If you want to heckle and you want to show how big of a man you are, and he's like looking up, because again, this guy's like 10 feet tall, 11 feet tall. So he has to nearly break his neck looking straight up at him. If you want to heckle, come back tomorrow. The Pendleton Supers are practicing then. Then we can see how much you heckle. Until then, just keep quiet already. Oh, I didn't mean to disturb you. Maybe if you did a better job coaching.
You think we should cut in, man?
Yeah, Sam is just like feeling little roars of anger rumble within him.
Why don't you just let our kids alone?
And I came out like a giant bear roar.
He looks up. Well, hey, he throws up his hands. And again, his arms are freaking the size of his biceps and everything is almost the size of some of the normals on the football team. Like he's a really really big dude. And he's like, "Oh, what are you talking about?"
Yeah, we're talking to you.
I'm not really. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just
Make it
watching
all
here. I'm just
players.
watching here. You know, the coach sees you guys and he gives you that look and sort of waves you over with the clipboard.
I'll fly over.
Tom stomps over.
He goes, "Yeah, you if you'd like, you know, we have room over here for you guys to watch practice. You can maybe share with our guests some of the finer points of what we do here." And he kind of addresses that directly at at Bart, since you're you're on the Pendleton Supers.
We're not the football team. We're on the basketball team.
Oh, I thought you said you were on the football team too.
Not basketball and baseball.
Oh, basketball and baseball. Okay. Well, you're on one of the super teams. Oh, two of the super teams.
Yeah, coach, I can help.
He kind of like he goes to tap you, but he has to like hold the clipboard by the edge to have enough reach to tap the clipboard on your shoulder. And he's like, "Good kid, good kid. All right, what are you guys doing here? Come on, huddle up." And while you were gone, Chris, basically what you saw was this, the giant, like, he's a high school student. You can tell the baby face underneath the mask he's wearing. Like, he still has his chubby cheeks.
Right.
You're close enough to see that, like, he doesn't even have razor bumps. Like, he's barely growing in any facial hair. He's just massive. He's like 10 to 11 feet tall, made of muscle. And he's wearing these tights with the teal fist on his mask, on his forehead. And he's been heckling the normal football team. Not the supers, but the normals. The guys that either have no superpowers or are on this team using secret identities.
I mean, being the Edge has been around the block, I think he would probably recognize who he is. Maybe not had a lot of interaction, but at least recognize him, because that's a pretty flamboyant costume.
Yeah. His name is Plymouth. He goes to one of the private schools. Do you fancy you would know a little bit more than that, or?
I think I would at least know if he considers himself to be like a hero type or a villain type, or at least what the city considers him to be.
Definitely a bully. So he's more villain than hero. Like, he doesn't really go around saving people so much. He saves people, but some people.
Okay. Trying to remember what it's called. Comfort Sport, Pierce the Mask. Yeah, I think Edge is going to kind of just take him in, and what he wants to do is pierce the mask, which basically is seeing who the person is underneath. It's a roll plus mundane. So let's see here.
All right.
And do I have any penalties or bonuses?
I guess, yeah, take an additional +2.
Okay.
Because, like you said, it is a pretty flamboyant costume.
All right. So it looks like a total of 7. Thank goodness for the +2 there. With a 7, I get to ask 1. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to give in to my villain side. I would like to know how I can gain influence over him.
Oh, that's easily. Start heckling or screwing with the football team. Like, he wants to start
I have
something
no problems with that.
Okay.
I really have no problems with that. And my goal is to kind of like basically get him comfortable enough to be to spill why he's here. So what Edge will do is, after a few moments of watching what's going on, he begins his incantations, and this sphere appears above his shoulder that kind of dilates and then closes, and it becomes like a cube, and then a sphere, and then rhombus, and then a cube again, and it just keeps changing shapes. And then he grabs it from out of the air, and he begins kind of warping it and shaping it into a football, and he throws it into the crowd. And there, as he throws it, there's this beacon of light that flashes on the back end, and it's entirely a dud. He's doing it because, you know, it's just to scare him. It's just to pick on him a little. But basically, he throws this space bomb at them that won't go off, so that they all scatter and freak out.
Yeah, they do that. They even the coach, like, I'm guessing this happens just as the coach is, like, you know, doing the best he can to pat Bart on the back, you know, and he's like, "Yeah, good kid." Oh God, Doug!
The receiver catch it and then realize what the terrible mistake he made.
And Sam just thrusts around and just stirs up, realizing it wasn't this guy Plymouth, and just looks at Eric and goes, "Why?"
After a few moments, like, a couple of flags pop out that say "bang" as everybody's running away.
Yeah, Bart just starts laughing.
Yeah, Plymouth like buckles over and starts slapping, you know, slaps his thighs like, look at you running away like a bunch of girls.
And he kind of walks up and sticks his hands inside his like jean jacket with the sleeves ripped off, because he's that iconic bad boy. And Edge goes, "Fucking normies, right? Hey, Edge." And he like starts to put his hand out to Plymouth.
Plymouth goes to shake your hand, but his hands are clearly massive. And he envelops like most of your forearm when he shakes, because he's so just like big and disproportionately crazy huge.
Absolutely. And Edge is like, "Man, you should be on the wrestling team. Forget this football nonsense. I could introduce you to the coach. You a new transfer kid?"
What, here? To the public school? Man, oh, you really are a joker. And he kind of like taps you a little too hard.
My bad. I didn't see one of your uncomfortable uniforms. I guess this is what passes for private school now?
He goes, "What, this thing?" And like he doesn't like stretch it out to show you anything. He just like flexes up and bounces interchangeably his chest muscles.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "Oh man, this is personal, tailor-made. You know, the boys at the supers at Maple Heights. We don't do that. What is it? Those jammies that you buy and say they're costumes."
I look at my clothes. I shop at the Gap.
I was gonna say I don't even use those costumes, but I'm sure you know who I am. Most people do at this point.
Yeah. You used to be big once.
Yeah, it used to be, and he kind of seems almost regretting that he says that. And he says, "Anyways, man, what if you're here to cause some fun, some trouble? You're in the wrong spot. You got to go out in town."
Look, I don't want to take away all your fun, man, but you know, I don't see myself going anywhere right yet.
"Oh no, see, you misunderstand. This is my turf." And he kind of does that like classic swirl of his arms to let him know that like everything he sees is under his command.
Yeah.
"I'm politely asking you to take your blue footies and get off my field."
He goes, "Whoa, look, listen, because you were something, and I think that'll be a provoke, right?"
Yeah, I think I'm provoking. I'm definitely pushing buttons. which is superior.
Yes.
All right, another bad roll for me. That is a miss. I'm totally not intimidating.
So,
Let's
yeah.
see what happens on a miss. Mm-mm-mm.
Let's see, when you provoke someone susceptible to your words, say what you're trying to get them to do and roll plus superior. For NPCs on a 10 plus, they rise to the bait and do what you want. On a 7 to 9, they instead choose one. I guess a miss is just a miss.
Yeah, it looks like it. There is something that says sometimes you might be able to say the right thing, especially if you've pierced the mask. Is there anything that I could use to my advantage because of piercing the mask around before? I mean, I kind of tried to by saying if you want to stir up some real trouble, you got to go out in the city. Like, this is nothing. Go to the big leagues.
I think if you start name dropping, you know, you might be able to get him to do what you want.
Yeah, let me think about that for a second here.
All right, so while you're thinking about that, I guess around this time is
Yeah,
when-
I'm going to go ahead and I've figured out who I'm going to name drop. I'm
Okay.
going to say, hey, isn't the Mad Magpie one of the chemistry teachers at your school? You know, he and I used to be good buddies. He helped me out with an artifact or two. And, like, he's clearly just kind of lightly putting it on that you don't want to mess with me because I know one of the big villains that's hiding in your school.
It's like, oh, what do you? I don't even know what. Who? Magpie. Man, you Pendleton High guys. You ain't even worth the time. And you know, he starts turning around to walk away.
The Mad Magpie is one of my contacts for my villainous career. Because I'm calling on it for help with my problem, I get to increase my obligation with him, which he can call on later.
All right, cool. Man, I gotta remember so much stuff now. I love it. So yeah, Plymouth starts walking away. But before he leaves the field, he like turns around, looks over his massive shoulder, and goes, "Pah," and stomps on a trash can. And you know, it's one of those net of steel that you would see like in Central Park or something. Excuse me. Well, not Central Park, but like a city park. There's like the really old nets of steel, like hardened steel. And he kind of like crushes it underfoot with all the garbage in it completely flat, like if it doesn't exist. And he just scoffs at you guys. Shoo. Kind of walks away. Go away.
Once he's off field, he collects up the ball or the bomb thing that he threw that was just a false bomb, and he goes up to the coach. He says, "Sorry, coach. Seemed like the best way to get rid of him."
Yeah. Okay. He's like holding his chest and he's checking his own pulse.
It's a dud, see? And he like holds it way too close to the coach for comfort.
Yeah. Mr. Rayner. Yeah. This. Could you? Oh, my heart. I can't take this.
It was a dud, Coach.
Look, I know I'm all for rehabilitation and things, but you gotta understand. And he's addressing Edge, but he's looking only at Rayner when doing it. He's like, you gotta understand. There's a history. I was there that day. All right, I nearly got crushed. I don't even know what it was. It was covered in black. It was not reflecting light. Look, just you know, everyone, you could go home today. You know, and the the football team is like, "Oh, come on with coach, it was a dud. Come on, it was a joke. Let's." And he just starts walking away,
And,
mumbling to himself. Yeah.
Edge kind of like grabs the coach by the shoulder and he says, "It's all right, coach. I've been enough trouble for you today. I'll leave.
Yeah.
Keep going with your training.
You jump.
We got to beat Penn. We got to beat them."
Yeah. He jumps back, like he's clearly, like you have a monster there, right? Who's large, muscular, scaled, fur, just a monstrosity, something straight out of a horror movie, and it's you that he's clearly terrified by. He jumps back, and he's like, "Look, Foundry, don't touch me, okay? You've been a menace, you're being a menace, and you'll probably always be a menace. Don't." And what he's doing is he's exerting his influence over you.
Yeah, and regardless of what he does, I'll take it. I'm not going to resist or anything like that. Eric kind of looks deflated for a moment, and he says, "Yeah, you're probably right, Coach. Sorry, I won't interfere with your practices anymore."
And the coach kind of looks confused for a moment, but he's like, "Okay, just." And he points with his clipboard back towards the school, and then stops and goes, "Oh," and then points it towards out towards the city.
Yeah. At this point, like Eric's already started to walk away, so he's not caring which way the clipboard's pointed. He's heading back towards kind of the bleachers where he's pretty much always been when there's a school event, is underneath the bleachers, and he has that quiet, reflective moment where he sits down, finally gets his cigarette, and he's looking at all this graffiti and stuff that's been on there from all the people that he's seen that have passed through the school, and he's the last one left of 7 years worth of high school here or something like that.
Yeah. And just so you know, he raised your danger up 1.
Okay.
And lowered your savior.
Okay. Ooh, I'm really bad at savior now.
And roughly about this time is when you start hearing, the start of a drum beat as the marching band starts taking one of its practice runs around the track to the outside of the football field.
None the wiser of what happened.
You see Billy just playing the trumpet and seeing the situation with the coach and everyone looking terrified, just giving what the hell is that while playing the trumpet. Just he's clearly concerned because he doesn't know what just happened.
As this happens, I'm just looking at Edge and Rock Sam or whatever your name is. How many people you think know he's what he is? Because seriously, we all do. We're all on the team.
You were asking Edge and Sam?
Yeah, Edge and Sam. Like I was looking at Billy as this nerd facade. He's just you think his parents know? How many people you think know he's what he is?
I don't know. I don't think Eric's still with us.
I walked away, yeah, underneath bleachers, smoking like a bad kid.
Meanwhile, Sam's eyes would have been trailing after, Plymouth as he walked away, and he's just staring, just glaring in that direction.
I should spear that guy. There's still time.
Yeah.
No, let's stop spearing people.
People. He deserves to be speared. Hey, where's Eric? Is that Billy? Get that.
Yes. Yeah, he's on the marching band. That dude could be playing football on the Supers team, and he's doing this.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. So a couple of the footballers, the normals. You gonna rock down to jeez. All right, playing Electric Avenue as a marching band. It's a really good marching band. So, you know, the two members of the football team kind of like catch your words, Bart, and they're like, "What?"
Yeah, Billy Graham. The nerdy kid from, that's in art class all the time, like that weird artist kid. He's a fucking super.
No, really? Dude, I told you.
Absolutely.
I told you the guy knows colors. Like, I bet you he's got super sight. You know what his power is? Wait, hold on. $10 says it's super sight. Nah, man. He's probably like, he's a speedster. He's a speedster. $10 says he's a speedster. All right, you see them kind of like bet, and they look around and like, wait, what's his power?
And suddenly, inside Bart's head, he hears the very, very annoyed voice of Billy saying, "You and I are going to have words later."
It sounds like you're gonna unleash your power. So, roll me an unleash your power roll, which is a 2d6 roll plus your freak modifier.
Please feel this.
That is a solid 4.
Okay, when you fail a roll, I typed it in chat. I don't know if you saw it, Josh, but when you fail, you roll a 6 or lower, you gain a potential. So mark your potential, and I guess like you'll communicate with him in a way, but all you hear in your head, all you get in your head, Bart, is like the image. Like you're thinking about this superpower, and you get an image of like the giant ant colonies. I forget where, but you know those ant colonies that grow like 6 feet high, and there's ants all over the place. That's what you see in your head.
And immediately he uses that and he turns into ants.
What? Nah, you owe me $10, dude. I told you. What are you talking to? You told he's ants are fast. That's close enough. Nah, man, please. Well, they have good eyes. Like they have hundreds of. Man, shut up and play the field. And you see the football team is like in free play, and the coach is like on a bench smoking his own cigarette.
I just look at Sam. Close one, man.
Ants?
It's possible.
Never told me about the ants.
You know Billy Graham's not actually super, right? I kind of whisper.
You're gonna hear it drawing closer. The Electric Avenue song played by the band as they march around the field, eventually getting to a roundabout your area. And the football team, the normals, right? It gets to the point where their young nature is kind of taking over, and instead of like proper sort of play, they're just they're kind of like playing keep away. Like they're just tossing the ball and running around like tag. You know, they're no longer playing any form of structured football. So
And you're gonna say something.
I guess with that, like that's the last panel on the page, and we'll turn the page, right, and you know on this panel of the page, it's a full page spread that has a far bird's eye view of the high school, all the students, you know, going to the high school, some driving up in cars, others taking public transportation, others still riding bikes or walking via the pedestrian highway that's nearby. Then we go to the next page, which is a more close-up view. You see, you know, Eric pulling up in and taken out of a squad car, out of a cop car with his customary escort and chains. You know, all the large transform students stick out like sore thumbs. One of which, of course, being Samuel. And then hidden amongst the crowd would be like Bartholomew and Billy. We start reading the comic. We go down to the next panel, and we see, you know, Laverne, the kid they call Blockhead, right? And he's just like waving his hands. He can't really wave them over his head because he can't really put them over his head. His head is so wide. But he's waving them. And like he's wearing normal clothes, but you can still kind of see under his like half button up shirt, he still has the spandex underneath. Or he's no longer wearing the mask. And he's like, everyone, oh my, the football team. And then he turns to run away, and you know a handful of students run after him. You hear one. It's like, dude, let's tie him to the back of the bleachers, and they run off. He's just shaking his head. Poor Blockhead, right? So what are you guys doing anything with this?
Sam just looks down. He has to crick his neck to look down at Billy.
Did something just happen?
I'm
Maybe it's your
not
father.
entirely sure.
When you say that, like Billy, you'll notice Miranda actually running to the field.
And this as that happens, he just sees the police car going on. Bye, Eric!
Eric kind of not too far away. He just kind of looks over and he says, he kind of tilts his head up and, you don't have to yell so much.
Oh, he's right there.
Yeah, I'm back again. And he kind of jingles the cuffs again.
Hey, Eric, good morning. And
Yeah,
Bart kind of puts his hands in his pocket and begins to float
Takes
ahead.
my
How many times have I
senior year to get 100% attendance?
Oh, is this a brand new day? Oh, hey. Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna get 100% attendance this year. He kind of sticks his hands in his pockets, begins to float off, just covered in purple energy. How many times are we gonna save this kid?
Yeah, let's go and see what's happening.
Yeah, you say that like, again, Billy, you'll see in the distance. She like when you see her, she always catches your eye, and you see Miranda with like her clique of cool girls, right? The other cheerleaders, the special like super desirable teens in the high school, and they like drop their book bags and like, oh no, right? And she's like overly like that, like overly feminine, and she runs off. Some of the other cheerleaders follow her. You'll even notice Rocky running towards the field, like with the comment of "Let's tie him up behind the bleachers." Rocky was quickly behind them after that. So is everyone going to the football field or?
Yeah.
Tom is stomping towards the football field.
All right.
Yeah, Eric will be the last one, and he'll just kind of shake his head and shrug his shoulders. He goes, if Laverne wants to, I'm sure Laverne's got a power, right? I mean, we don't have to get involved.
I turn around and begin to fly backwards towards the football field. I really don't think he does.
It doesn't appear like it.
I'm thinking he's maybe one growth spurt away from his body catching up with his head.
That might be true.
If Rocky touches that kid,
I
I'm gonna throw him. I'm gonna throw him, Miles.
All right. I guess
Sam,
I
no
don't
throwing other
anymore.
students.
And you hear the cuffs come undone, and they just get left in the field as everybody's walking across.
Yeah. Did you shake your police escort?
Yeah, I think once they started shouting for me, I shook them earlier. It's not terribly uncommon for me to do that throughout the day.
So you guys get to the football field, and you see all the football players, the normal football players. They're all unconscious and piled on top of each other, and you see Plymouth, like standing there. Right? Again, in that sort of judgmental stance with his arms crossed. He's like giggling and he's watching as everybody comes. And once in a while he'll unfurl his arm to just wave an audience. Like wave the audience closer as he's giggling. And there's a second guy. He's also in a super suit. Like he's also wearing spandex and the whole nine. He's got the little mask. Not the full top head part that Plymouth has, but he's got like
He's
that.
got just eyes that seem to be like no straps or anything on him.
Yeah, he's wearing like a very pale blue and orange accented costume. The mask itself is orange, and he looks like this. He's got like that buzz cut hairdo. The only flesh that you can see is his face and his hands. Everything else is in the spandex, and he's sitting on top of the pile, and he seems to be eating a Twinkie.
That's all Sam needs to know.
Sam's oh hell no!
And he cracks his hands and he's sprinting towards Plymouth. And I want to tackle him.
Oh, okay. That sounds like you're attempting to directly engage a threat. So that's a roll. That's a 2d6 roll, plus your danger label. So you roll 2d6 and you modify it by whatever your danger is.
I got a +1 in that.
Okay.
Okay, so I hope this is good, because I want to knock him out. That's 11.
That's an 11? Wow. Okay. So on a hit, you trade blows. On a 10 plus, you pick 2. On a 9, 7, 8, or 9, you pick 1. So the list is you avoid their blows, you resist or avoid their blows, you take something from them, you create an opportunity for your allies, or you impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
Resist or avoid their blows. take something from them. Create an opportunity for allies. All right. If Sam directly like spears that guy, does that count as create an opportunity for allies?
You can choose 2 because you rolled so high.
All right. Oh, right. Okay. So Sam is charging like a crazy ape croc thing, and he's lunging into Plymouth, and Plymouth starting to a bit surprised there, and tries to knock some blows into Sam, but the blows are just knocking off Sam's gigantic form, and as he nears, he just barrages into him and spears Plymouth to the ground.
Okay, so you're resisting his blows, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, like Plymouth goes to the floor, you can hear like all the air escape as he's trying to like pound down on you, but there seems to be little to no strength behind it. He goes careening to the floor, and that's when you see the other individual kind of like spin around from his perch, and he just starts to laugh at Plymouth, point and laugh.
And Sam's on top of him, and he's like, "You think you're strong? You think you're strong, little bitch?"
So, your massive monster ally just created an opportunity for you guys. Would you be acting on the opportunity, or what would you be doing?
I'm gonna use the opportunity that he's had to basically draw everyone's attention away, to be able to sort of sneak off into the maybe the little gap in between the bathrooms and the wall next to them, and be able to quickly, pull off the dress shirt that I had and put on the mask to be able to fully get in costume.
I can imagine, like, there's like someone who always follows you around and plays like the soundbite from Superman when you do that. Just, duh! No. So yeah, you change costumes. As far as Edge and Bartholomew, what are you two gents about to do? Or,
Yeah, Bartholomew's going to use this opportunity to gather burn.
Edge is going to be on the side, and he makes another incantation, and these kind of boxing glove looking type of apparatuses show up on his hands, and he starts doing like this shadow boxing kind of scuffle dance, and he's like, "Yeah, give him the old 1-2." I'm looking to comfort and support, so I can add to our team pool.
All right. I haven't been doing the team pool because you guys don't have a name or a leader.
Okay.
So
that's
that's why like last time
0 and I can build it up kind of thing.
Yes.
Or
yes.
Okay, cool.
Well, that's why I haven't mentioned like, okay, you guys get 2 and what's going on, but yeah. So
that is a roll plus mundane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ooh, that's not bad. That is a 9. Which, let me find it here. Let's see, on a 10 plus. Okay, blah, blah, blah. On a hit, if they hear you, they can mark potential, clear condition, or shift labels. It's up to you. I would like to clear condition because I think that Bart still has a condition on him. Is that correct?
Yeah, I still got angry.
Yeah, I'm going to clear Bart's anger by just this ridiculous bravado that I've put on. He's just going to have to, like, laugh it off kind of thing.
That's awesome.
All right, nice. Speaking about Bart, in this moment, what are you doing?
So yeah, he's charging up his powers and getting burn, and I rolled at 11. So that gives me 3 burn.
That gives you 3 burn and no conditions?
He's immediately going to spend one burn to create just what looks like some fancy futuristic pistol in his hand, laser pistol.
Okay.
And he is going to aim it at the guy that was sitting atop the knocked out bodies of the football players and fire a laser.
Okay, so with your construct, it sounds like you're unleashing. Would that be unleashing powers, or would that be directly engaging? Hey, I'm asking you, Chris, because you've actually ran this.
I guess it's dependent on how you want to look at it. I would probably do unleashing power since the power is doing it instead of them directly engaging.
All right, so yeah, so roll your freak, Josh. Roll plus your freak.
Okay.
Like I'm in a
That
weird
is-
category too. So if I assault with a weapon I've conjured, we should probably do that as direct assault. But if I use my conjuring to like summon a field of blades on the ground, maybe that's my freak instead.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense.
So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Nice. On a hit or more, mark a condition, or the GM will tell you the effect. No. Let's see. When you unleash your powers, you overcome an obstacle, reshape the environment, or extend your senses. Roll plus freak. On a hit, I guess. You hit him, right? And
Yeah.
he rolls off his perch, right? And he spins around, like he rolls off his perch of the pile, disappears behind the pile, but then like walks off the side, and he obviously looks really, really pissed off. And like he's got a book bag in his hand, reaches into it, and takes out a baseball. He's like tossing it in the air, and then leans back and does like a pitcher's position, and he throws the baseball at you, Bartholomew. But it makes a small sonic boom when he lets go of it.
Okay. Can you spin burn as a reaction?
You tell me what you're doing.
Okay, I'm going to spend one burn to use moat as I create a basketball-shaped field around me. Spend one burn to create a barrier that will hold back threats as long as you keep your attention on it.
Okay. So you create this basketball-shaped, like shielding field around you.
Yeah.
And the baseball hits, and you see it explode, like the entire thing unravel, and just go to bits, as it splatters against your field. I guess that somewhere around this time, like your quick costume change would have been done. Soldier ant. You're now donning the soldier ant thing. You're heading back to the field, and you'd probably like catch a glimpse of some of the other kids, including Rocky, by the bleachers, and there seems to be a commotion.
I'm going to, because I have super speed as well as my super strength. I'm going to rush by the commotion to see what's happening.
They're kind of like hog tying Blockhead to one of the bleachers so that he's hanging and swinging.
I'll deal with that in a minute. I'm gonna go help my team.
So as you speed off, like the last thing you see is Rocky kind of like stand up, and like because he crumbles, like his body sort of crumbles away. There always seems to be dirt coming from his rocks, and all that is swept up by the breeze you create from running away from him. He's like, huh? And back at the fight on the floor, Samuel, you're engaged. You're locked in this combat with Plymouth, right? and Plymouth is going to make a motion to toss you off of him and into the bleachers that's nearby.
Okay, so what can I do there? Can I would that be taking like a powerful blow or something?
Not yet. It would kind of be, I guess. There's no defend option, right?
There is a defend here.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, so let's. You can defend yourself with that, right?
Let me just double check here.
It says someone
When you
or
defend
something.
someone or something from an immediate threat.
Or would this be more like a directly engage a threat still?
I would say this is directly engaging a threat because he's still going up in. He's not blocking something from the blow. He is
Yeah.
actively fighting against this guy.
Because
Okay,
I can imagine
Wait,
them
wait, wait,
tossing
wait,
and
wait.
turning.
let me
There's
get
a
the
bit-
opinion of the guy that ran the game before.
There is a line inside there. It's like the fourth paragraph down that says you do not trigger defend someone when you're keeping yourself safe from an NPC or environment threat. That's more likely to be another move, which was most likely something like what is it? The avoiding powerful blow, I think is what it's called. Take a powerful blow.
Okay, so
Because take a powerful blow, if you roll well, it's not as powerful.
you just all right. Because this is, I mean, while similar in so many ways, it's still very different than Dungeon World.
Yes. It's a little bit closer towards Apocalypse World on the scale.
All right, I've never actually played Apocalypse World. Anyway, awesome. So yeah, it'd be take a powerful blow then.
Okay. So missing on this is actually better.
Yes.
Right. I just hope I miss, because then I mark potential, which would be cool. All right, so yeah, that's an 8.
An 8, so you choose one. You lash out verbally, provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, or take advantage of your influence to inflict a condition. You give ground. Your opposition gets an opportunity, or you struggle past the pain and mark 2 conditions.
All right.
So let me just, if you're not looking at it, let me screen share.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm imagining that Sam and Plymouth have been tossing and turning, and there's like all on the ground, and then they're getting up, and then there's all this wrestling, interlocking, and maneuvering going on, and I'm gonna give him grind, and he gets
And he gets an opportunity.
an opportunity.
I think with that, like, he throws you into the bleachers, right? The bleachers, like, they get damaged because you're a really big, monstrous guy, and he takes the momentum. Like, he looks like despite his size and his mass, he doesn't look like he strictly relies on that. Like, he looks like he's trained to fight, right? So he rolls with it, jumps up into the air, and then looks like he's doing a backward elbow drop to put you through the bleachers. So I think that'd be another take a powerful blow.
Oh, okay. All right, it's 9 this time.
It's the same. It's the same. 7, 8, or 9.
All right. So, yeah, Sam's getting tossed through this thing, and he's just coming crashing down. So, I'm gonna I'm gonna struggle past the pain. And I mark 2 conditions with this.
Okay, so mark 2 of those conditions on your playbook. Afraid, angry, guilty, hopeless, or insecure.
Well, there they are. Yeah.
You could, Josh, you could use
Maybe
your shielding, but your personal barrier only lasts for as long as you maintain it.
Yeah, I know that, but that's a different field, a different ability.
Yeah, so yeah, I marked angry and hopeless because Sam's not used to getting thrown around like that, and he was totally taken off guard. So he's
oh yeah, you bitch.
Yeah, you got your sucker slam in, but this guy is another pretty big, pretty strong guy. What the rest of you see is the fight like unfolding. You know, they rolled, they tussled about. Sam, Brock Rock, got thrown into the bleachers, and then this large form of Plymouth elbow dropped Brock through the bleachers, and Plymouth went tumbling after him. Also, is this other masked figure, and he reaches into the bag, and he's like tossing another baseball in the air, and he's just eyeballing. Like his gaze is locked on Bart. All the other students are like, they start taking out their phones and they're like clicking pictures, and some are like, "Oh my gosh!" And there's one, there's one short, chubby dude who's like recording, and he seems to be, on today of, May 27th, the morning of May 27th. All right, arriving to school, there seems to be 2 figures who have, obviously he's a student reporter. First on the scene was, I believe he goes by the name of Rock Brock or Brock Rock. More on those issues later. Well, that's, you guys are the heroes. What are you doing? This is your comic, your story.
So we've got Bartholomew getting engaged with the man throwing baseballs. We have Sam getting thrown through the bleachers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I believe in this situation, Sam seems to be more hurt, so I'm probably going to go try to assist him.
So you're super speeding to assist him?
Yes.
All right. Noticing your super speed, the guy with the baseballs actually launches one towards you. Like, this looks like a quick flick. It wasn't like a full-on baseball pitch, but he tossed it off of the hip, and it still made that small, like, little sonic boom. So that baseball is flying towards you. And so correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. So it's basically every direct attack that an enemy does is like taking a powerful blow, right?
It's up to you if you want to judge it as it's a powerful blow or not. Because you're not rolling, you're narratively deciding what that is. If he throws the ball and it's just like a scratching wound, you don't have to do the powerful blow. You can just describe it as it's just like a scratch or something when it hits.
All right.
But I would like to defend since I haven't done anything in a little while.
All right.
What Edge does is he clasps these 2 boxing gloves together, and you can hear kind of this almost like not quite copyrighted Transformers sound, but very close, as it like reshapes itself into this baseball bat with this ring of spikes at the top. and he just steps in between. He goes to nail the baseball. Defending is with Savior.
Yeah.
Woo! I'm bad at that. Let's see how bad this is. Yeah, I miss terribly. Like it's a full-on strike. It's a whiff terribly.
So you step into to defend, and the ball is moving at like supersonic speeds. So like it gets past you, hits the ground at Soldier Ant's feet, exploding the field and sending dirt all into his face to stop him in his tracks. And then your swing kind of like you stepped into the swing. This all happened, and then you kind of swung. So you get that little bit of explosion. Bart is in his field of I'm safe, haha, I'm safe. And Soldier Ant, you just got grass and astroturf just all up in your grill.
Well, clearly this baseball pitcher seems keen on trying to challenge me, so I'll turn tail and run directly at him. I guess I'm gonna try to knock him off his feet.
All right, so how are you trying to knock him off his feet?
I'm just going to try and grab him by the chest and push him to the ground.
That's definitely directly engaging a threat.
Let's see what I roll for this one. Hopefully not as bad as last time. It was worse. I don't know what I add to that, but I failed. I rolled a 3.
So you mark a potential.
Eventually, I might be able to use some of this potential and stop sucking.
Yeah. So you go to engage him and like, you use your speed to close the distance. You recover from getting all this dirt thrown in your face, but because your vision was kind of obscured, because you had dirt in your eyes and all over the place, you didn't really notice that he kind of stepped to the side, and by the time you reached to grab him, he levied like 14 blows into your gut. Really, really fast. So that's you taking a powerful blow.
All right. This one's going to be the one that rolls high. Actually, no. This one was a 5.
Yeah, you mark potential again, and you describe how you like weather that blow.
As he's sort of running past and he's getting all these strikes to the gut, he just sort of stumbles forward and like does a roll on the ground and just takes a second to breathe. But the blows were fast, but not exactly strong enough to injure him significantly.
All right, wonderful. Oh, damn it. I was about to go to Sam next. Okay. So, Bart, since you haven't done anything with throw your field up, are you attempting to do anything now?
Yes, I am going to drop my field, spin one bird, and use snatch as his hand comes out, and basically a large purple version of his hand lashes out from his hand, spins, goes streaking across the field, grabs that bag that guy's been pulling baseballs out of, and just throws it away.
Yeah, he reacts fast enough to grab it, but not strong enough to hold on to it. He's like, boom, oh, damn it. You see him like snap his fingers, and being so close, Eric and Billy, or should I say Edge and Soldier Ant, you kind of hear him say, damn it. And really quick, like fire off. He's firing off these comments at the mouth. He's like, damn it, well, since I dealt with that one, I got to deal with this one. And he looks like he's about to move to deal with. He's saying that in reference to Soldier Ant. Not realizing that his blows had no effect on you. He's jumping the gun. Now that you're back, Brian, you're wrestling. You crashed through the bleachers. The bleachers are destroyed. You've got the massive hulking form of Plymouth on top of you, and his elbow kind of like buried in your chest.
Okay, so yeah, Sam Brock is just feeling the surge of anger seethe right through him, and his own massive arms start to lock around Plymouth's equally massive form, and I want to unleash my power.
Okay. In what way?
Where he's using his inhuman strength and he wants to throw Plymouth away off him. And at the minute it doesn't really matter how far he's gonna go, but he just wants to throw him.
Alright, which option? This is one of your transformed moves?
As
I
transformed, he has superhuman strength as one of his options. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Alright. Yeah, so roll your unleash power. Unleash your powers.
Which is pretty good for me. That's a 10.
Yeah, so you the scene is that this bleacher is like partially collapsed on the two of you as you guys are wrestling. There's his name actually is Fastball. Chris, like you typed that in there. It actually is Fastball. I don't know if you saw it, but where is it? See right there?
I took a guess when I saw the picture. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the scene is like Fastball is there. He's just lost his bag of baseballs. Soldier Ant is standing there, completely unaffected by that assault of blows, and Fastball looks like he's moving towards Edge next, and then this explosion from behind everything in the bleachers, where you see Plymouth get launched like 15, 20 feet in the air. In the moment that you see Plymouth getting launched, right? Like this is that one panel, right? Fastball looks like he's making his way. He's about to run at Edge. The bag of baseballs is just in the grasp of Bartholomew. The background is that scene where you just see bleacher bits flying all over the place. Those little action motion lines in the background with like the half-drawn form of Plymouth in the background. That's the one panel. And the very next panel, you guys, the rest of you guys, Bartholomew, Edge, and Soldier Ant are about to act. And in what way are you guys about to act?
I would like to provoke Fastball. And it's going to be that classic, I want a pitcher, not a belly itcher. And he's like, just kind of like doing that move. But it's more just to try and like open up an opportunity, hopefully. So let's see here. All right, I got a 12. So they rise to the bait and do what you want. The question is, do I have enough sway that he's going to listen to my words? Because this might be a completely useless move.
Being that you use the phrase "I want a pitcher and not a belly itcher," yes.
Perfect. Okay, so on a 12, they rise to the bait and do what I want. I want him to come after me. I want him and I to battle it out. So basically, he starts diverting himself to me.
All right. In the blink of an eye, like there's a cloud. Soldier Ant, you're super fast as well, so you kind of see him drop down into this position, right? Like he looks like a batter that just just caught a good hit, and he drops down. You notice that like he has the spandex, but the bottom of the spandex is actually cleats, and then like the smoke of the field, the grass kind of rocket up, almost like a mini explosion. As you can hear the air slowly go. Occupy the space where he was once at right before the sonic boom. However, Edge, you're not super fast, right?
No.
So you just see like an explosion behind him. You don't see him move, and all of a sudden he's in your face, and he looks like he's about to just clock you.
Okay.
So, again, Soldier Ant or Bartholomew?
I'm going to, seeing that he's sprinting after Edge, I'm going to sprint up behind him, grab him because he's in that runner's position, grab him by the leg, and try to throw him up at Plymouth.
All right.
Hopefully they collide in midair.
So, again, in almost similar fashion, there's another explosion of just AstroTurf and dirt Edge. It's like, and then, again, you don't know, you can't see what's going on, but roll your directly engage a target. Directly engage a threat, that is. Or, no, you're just throwing him, right?
I'm throwing him at the other guy.
All right, so your choice: unleash your powers, or directly engage a threat.
To be honest, they're both basically the same role.
All right.
I got a 10.
All right. So what you see, Edge, is just like a second explosion. They look like they happened at the same time. You get a quick, like, you think you see Fastball in the position to clock you, but what you actually see is just the later image of Soldier Ant spinning away from right in front of you and launching Fastball into the air at Plymouth.
Yeah, and I think our teamwork just isn't quite there yet. So like Edge is mid swing at where Fastball used to be and Ant is now, and he just like stops the bat just barely in time.
All right.
So both these guys are flying up into the air.
Plymouth is already up in the air, and Fastball is fast catching up like a little rocket.
Okay, I dropped the gun as it quickly turns into like a human-sized, like 6'5" baseball bat, and
You
it
still
flies.
you still have hold left?
Yeah,
I
I think so.
thought you already used 3. One for your big round barrier.
I did.
Yeah.
I figured I could change the shape of a construct without using it.
And that cost a hold to create something.
Okay, never mind.
Am I thinking that wrong, Chris, or is that
I'm sorry, say that again.
he wants to make a, what was it, a baseball bat?
Yeah, I want to change the shape of my construct. Would I have to spend another burden to do that?
Let me look at the Nova real quick.
I'm looking for the Nova now too.
One burn to create any object with your powers up to the size of a person. Additional burn to animate it independently of yourself. I would say that's up to the GM. I don't know that it necessarily changes too much by allowing it to change, so it might be.
Yeah, it says the
Thing.
construct dissolves at the end of the scene. All right, sure.
Okay, so he's going to drop the gun. It's going to morph into a 6'5" human-sized baseball bat. Fly over to where they're both going to collide. You see him just swing his arm as the baseball bat swings, trying to knock them both out of the park.
All right, so roll a directly engage a threat, but with your freak instead.
That is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 5, 4, and +2.
Yeah, that's clearly a success. And you get to choose 2 from the directly engage a threat, which is resist or avoid their blows, take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
I'm going to create an opportunity for my allies as fastball gets struck directly back towards Soldier Ant and Edge, and the other one is knocked straight back towards Ed. So I'm choosing create an opportunity for your ally twice,
All right.
essentially.
So once for Plymouth, and once for fastball.
Fastball, yeah.
All right, beautiful. So how the rest of you reacting to this? Like, there's still it's really fast paced. There's a bit of chaos. There's even starting to be some flash photography. But fastball is coming directly back at you, Soldier Ant, almost as fast as you launched him into the air. And Samuel, you launched Plymouth out into the air, and you were clear to get up, but you saw the glowing purple image of your ally knock him right back towards you.
All right, so as this guy's coming right back at Brock, Sam. He's just waiting for this big guy to come falling right into his arms again, and gives him. And then as it does this, he's gonna give him a backbreaker.
Oh, jeez. All right.
So I suppose that's directly engage a threat?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Directly engage a threat.
All right, well, I completely missed. That was a 6.
Oh, okay. So you mark potential.
Yeah, I got potential.
And mark a condition. Or no, not mark a condition. Take a powerful blow, I guess. As he careens down, and his form is crushing yours. So you kind of break his fall for him.
So I have to take the powerful blow.
Yeah, you take a powerful blow.
Just need to check this. Oh, that's a 10.
Ooh, okay. On a 10, you must remove yourself from the situation. You lose control of your powers in a terrible way, or you choose 2 of the options from the 7 to 9 list.
Oh, when this happens to Sam is just getting really, really intense and very, very powerfully angry, and so he loses control.
All right, so we'll handle that in a second. Soldier Ant, uh, and I guess Edge. Fastball is flying directly towards you guys again.
Yeah, and Edge is gonna look at him and he goes, "You want to throw me?" And he kind of picks up a foot, hoping that a scooped foot hand is gonna come out to throw him.
I mean, I'm happy to help.
Perfect.
So-
So I will directly engage as I fastball special my way up to fastball there. I got an 11, so that's going to be picking 2 of them.
Mm.
Directly engaging a threat.
You can just narrate how you take out fastball.
Okay. As far as the 2 things that I want to do is I want to resist his blows, and I'll narrate that in a second.
Mhm.
And then I want to impress the crowd that's around me with my heroics.
All right.
I'm trying to use this to my advantage. Basically, fastball sees me coming, and he kind of twists his body with like athletic finesse, and he comes down with this kick, and it's just poor judgment choice on his part as my back comes up and hits him on the inside of his thigh as that leg's coming down on me. And the 2 of us just kind of roll in the air, and it's just several times just smacking him with the bat. And you can see that there's this moment where Edge hesitates, like, if I hit him 2 more times, he's done. He's not getting up. But he decides to stop and curb himself, and that's where the impressing the crowd happens.
Yeah, so much like in a sports event, the crowd goes wild, right? You know, and you're almost there. You got your buddy flying, with purple bat, right there. You know, and everybody's like, "Ah!" You know, the little the panel, like you get a special little panel where what you just did is on the cell phone of the little pudgy reporter, and it's just him like talking into the cell phone, narrating, and the crowd goes wild. Edge beats the mysterious stranger to within an inch of his life. And if it was the old Edge, he would have kept going, but this is the new, the improved, the reformed Edge. And then like the next panel after that, there's like all this celebration, right? And then there's just this panel of Plymouth getting up, and underneath you see like this seething, rageful beast that is Brock Rock. And Plymouth sees the state of the situation, right? I guess at this time, like, Edge would be like landing on the ground all heroically. There's the beaten, battered form of Fastball, his Plymouth's ally, and then you see him do like one of those little anime things where they suck their teeth, and it's like a, like a kind of sound. And he just turns tail to run, right? But in the very next panel, we get like again, we're seeing the pudgy reporter, and the pudgy reporter goes, "But what's this?" And the cell phone rises to the bleachers, and there he is, like completely losing himself. Brock Rock. And that's what the pudgy reporter says, just Brock Rock, right? And then there's still the chat bubble with the 3 dots, like he's just waiting for something more to say. And we'll see the image of Brock completely annihilating the bleachers, and like he starts tossing through like the pile of players. He's barreling through and like tossing them, looking for an enemy to sort of unleash himself upon. And then he picks up this beaten and unconscious form of Fastball, and Fastball is in his clutches, right? And he's all beat up, like he's got like the fat lip, swollen eye, and Brock Rock raises him up. His monstrous form, like his teeth bared, he's slobbering, he's losing control of himself. And we get like the little narration boxes, and it's like, the beast unleashed? Question mark. Can he control himself in this moment of anger? Question mark. Will he eat fastball? Question mark. Find out in the next episode of ... And that'll be the end of today's game.
All right, cool.
That was awesome.
So yeah, if you guys want to do this now, there's actually end of session stuff that we can do.
Yeah.
Where's
Oh.
GM sheets?
It's session moves inside the core book under chapter 4.
Okay, let me go to the core book. I was using it comes with like those shortcut sheets, but I'm still
Yeah,
not-
I don't know if it's inside the GM sheets because usually with Apocalypse World they include the basic moves and the session moves, but I don't see it inside the GM stuff.
Crap, I could have sworn I saw it. Oh no, yeah, it's in the basic moves. The basic move sheet, page 2.
Then the peripheral moves.
Yeah, start of session and end of session. So at the end of every session,
I wonder if I'm missing a sheet then.
it was in the download that I got from DriveThru.
I'll take a look.
All right. So yeah, end of session. There's 3 things that you can choose from, right? You can grow closer to the team. You explain who made you feel welcome, give influence to that character, and clear a condition or mark potential. You can grow into your own image of yourself, explain how you see yourself and why, shift one label up and another down, and the last one is grow away from the team. Explain why you feel detached. Take influence over you away from one of the other characters.
What page is this on, also?
I was looking on the sheets. Core rule page. Moves. No, it was in. You said chapter 4. Team moves.
Yeah, it's
potential?
chapter 4. It
Session
is page
moves.
92. Yeah, session moves.
Yeah, on my book it's page 90. Oh no, 92. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the PDF page number.
Yeah, the PDF page number is 92. The number in the lower left-hand corner is 90. It says session. It's right under potential. It says session moves. So, being that you've been a GM for this already, I'll start with you, Chris.
Sure. I'm thinking that I grow into the image of myself. Edge kind of bought into this idea of being a hero, but he hasn't really done anything super heroic other than managed to survive when Death's Shadow came the first time. This is his first, actually being a hero, standing up for someone moment. I'm going to shift one label up and one label down, which means I will probably take my danger down since it's pretty high right now.
Okay.
And I am going to increase my... I think my superior.
So he gets a little full of himself, but in a good way.
Yeah. It reflects a lot of the stuff I was doing, like provoking and stuff like that
Yeah.
inside there.
You're more tactical than just pure.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to go for mundane, not superior, because I did Pierce Mask and Comfort and Support, which I
you
think
also did
fits
that too. Yeah.
better.
Ah, okay. All right. If Josh is next on my screen, I don't know if he wants to do anything with both.
I'm here.
All right, cool.
What was grow away from the team?
Grow away from the team. Explain why you feel detached. Take influence over you away from another character.
I think I'm going to feel detached because, well, our friend Soldier Ant here does not seem to like me very much. and I'm going to take influence away from him.
All right. What do you mean he doesn't seem to like you? All right, cool. So then we move to our infraggable creature, Samuel Houston.
I think Sam has grown in the image of himself, which is the monster that he's trying to fight not to be.
All right.
And I put one label up and another down.
Yes, sir.
So on his labels, I'll put his danger up. And I guess for the one that he's gonna put down,
If he's going into that more monsterly vision of himself, I think mundane would make sense.
yeah, so then he'll get a -2 on that.
So you're at
'Cause
-2
he's-
mundane.
So he's on.
Yeah, that's the lowest it could be.
Yeah, he's freaked out. He is the freak.
All right.
He is the freak right now.
And yeah, we're left with the question: will he eat fastball? Anyway, so finally, the one who looked like he might have been the leader for all his influence over everyone, a soldier ant.
I'm actually going to grow closer to the team.
Okay.
This is the first time that he was actually called on to assist someone in combat, and it made him feel like he wasn't like disregarded as he tends to be in his day-to-day life. I don't think influence stacks, but 'cause it would just be
Actually, if someone who has influence over you gains influence over you again, they get to shift your labels.
So I'd be giving influence once again to Edge.
Okay. I would think probably your freak could go up if it isn't already past 3.
My freak's at 0.
Okay, I think your freak can go up, and your superior is probably going to go down
All right.
because you're kind of growing into your powers, is how I'm looking at it. And you're more kind of going into the teamwork role, so I don't see mundane going down either.
All right, and then I get to mark clear condition or mark potential. I don't have any conditions, so I'm marking potential again.
So, does anybody mark enough potential to essentially level up? Like, because I know there
I
were
do.
quite a few. There were quite a few failed rolls and stuff.
Yeah, I failed almost every roll I made.
So you have a full. Full track.
I was purposely picking bad stats to roll too, and I was like, why do I keep passing?
You were doing well, man. You really helped out your team. Apparently, the fates of the world really want Edge to be a hero, like the leaderly type of hero. That's what it is. But yeah, so if you marked all freaking 5 boxes of potential, you
There was a lot of missing.
You get to choose an advancement.
I think I only got one potential for a miss and then another one for growing away from the team. Or did I get a potential for
No,
that?
you don't get potential for growing away from the
Okay.
team. The end of session. The only way to mark potential at an end of session move is to grow closer to the team.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to take a move from another playbook.
Ooh, all right.
I'm currently going to look through and try to figure out what move I'm going to take, but
All right, sure.
I'm going to take one.
Decide that on whatever you'd like. So yeah, if you guys want, I want to make this like a loose episodic, maybe every other Saturday or whatnot. So yeah, that was fun.
Sounds good to me. Chris, I was going through some medical issues,